there, it's Kevin Ward, and welcome to another Interviews with the Best. I'm the founder of Listmaster's Real Estate Success Training, helping you get more yeses and more successes in your business and in your life. And with our Interviews with the Best, we interview agents who are not only top performers in the real estate industry, but also agents who believe in being the best, not only for themselves, but for their clients, while at the same time having a life. And today we are very honored and very excited to have with us JP Montalvan from Compass Real Estate up in the Washington, D.C. area. JP, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for being here, or thank you for having me, I should say. You're not here, you're there.
I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad that we're having this opportunity to talk. So just to kind of get us started here, tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from, how you got into real estate, and just kind of tell us who JP is.
Absolutely. So I got into real estate about 19 years ago. I would say that the journey started it started right after college. So right after college, back in the 1900s, this was obviously the late 1900s, but the 1900s. So in the recession of 91, it was a very formative time for me because I graduated from college. I was in my first job, which was international economic consulting, and the company went down. The company went bankrupt.
Wow.
And I lost my job in the middle of a recession. And it was when you're in the middle of a recession, there are no jobs. And so I had two job offers. Ultimately, one was to be a personal trainer, which was really a towel boy at a local prominent country club.
Yeah.
At $7 an hour. And I had another job offer to work as a trade show assistant, and that was for a whopping $6.75 an hour.
Which is basically, this is all minimum wage work.
That was minimum wage work, right? Yeah. So my first year after the recession, I earned about $16,000. And to kind of frame that first year that I earned $16,000, my monthly rent was $900 a month. Wow. And I had a car payment that was about $400 a month. So right there, that's $1,300. And you do the math there, and that math that's not exciting math, right?
Not much wiggle room.
Not much wiggle room. And so what I did is I took the job as the personal trainer towel boy. I actually turned that into working with clients. I was working a 40-hour job. When I left that job, of the 40 hours, I was working 36 hours with clients. So I was literally back to back to back to back every minute that I was there. I left there, I turned that into a business, a training business in my home. Then in 97, I built a studio and took my business there and just worked through the creation of business. And around the same time, I really got excited about real estate. I bought my first home in 96.
Yeah.
It was a condo. It was a total fixer. It needed everything. It needed floors, carpet, new kitchen, new baths. So I took that, and over the course of a year, I just totally renovated it. And I lived in it for another year, and then I said, okay, let me try selling this. And rather than, I was the dreaded for sale by owner that agents hate, and so I sold it myself. And made a great profit.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about that. And then now I wasn't as dumb on the buy side. So on the buy side, I had an agent that I worked with, and she helped me buy another fixer, but this time it was a single family. And so I bought that. That was another fixer. I ended up massively renovating that, flipping that, doubling my dollars. And that was serious. That was a $250,000 home that I bought, and then I sold it for over 500,000.
Wow. Now, what year was this?
That was 1990. So I bought it in 99, and then I sold it in 2001.
So this is Y2K, all in the Y2K area. So you
Y2K.
lived, it was your home as well. I mean, you lived in it.
Absolutely.
After you fixed it up and lived in it and then flipped it.
Yes.
Okay.
So I leveraged it out. It was leverage, right? I was leveraging the flip, and I was leveraging the deduction. It was just leverage.
Yep.
And in that process, I realized that I actually enjoyed and I again FISBO'd it. So again, I sold it myself. And I realized in that process that I liked the people portion. I loved real estate, that I loved meeting people because I held the open house and people came through and I talked with them and shared with them about the house. And I really was getting to enjoy it. So that's where I ended up getting my real estate license.
All right. And so when you got your real estate license, did you go full-time right away? How did you get into once you got into the business, how did you go in?
Yeah, so I went in, I was really, I was dual career for a long time. I still had my fitness business. It was now a thriving fitness center in downtown Bethesda, which is just outside DC.
Right.
And continue to build that business. And at the same time, I was building a real estate business and did very well. Really ramped up very quickly. I mean, I was in my second year as an agent. I was with Prudential at that time. In my second year, my second full year in real estate, I was a top producer. And by my third year, I was a top 10 with the company.
So you were doing this and still had your training business on the side. Okay, so let's just go here for a second, because this is like a lot of agents come in and they have another job and they're like, how do I get started? Can I get started full time? And how do I do that? You had success while you still ran another business. Yes. So how did you divide your time? How did you do that? How did you generate your business? How did you make that work?
Sure. A lot of work. I mean, it's not, I will definitely tell you, it wasn't pretty. It was, it was hours. And I mean, it was a 7-day role.
And how many hours, honestly, how many hours a week were you working here and here combined?
Well, I mean, you open a fitness center at 6 o'clock in the morning, and and the fitness center is closing at whatever time. I think we were at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the evening. It was more individual training focused. It wasn't a gym. It was a studio. Right. So it wasn't a 24-hour role, but it was still, that was a solid chunk of time. Yeah. I did have people that were helping me there. I mean, I had a team, I had staff and so forth. But it was definitely a haul, because I'm toggling back and forth, right? I mean, I'm going from that to real estate, back to that, back to real estate. And so my days would normally not end. I wouldn't say they ended until about midnight. And so that was eating. That's eating on the go. I ate a lot of bars. I've eaten more bars in my life than most people. I took naps sometimes in the car. It's because that's a haul. I mean, you're 7 days.
So these are 16, 17, 18-hour days, 7 days a week.
Yes. Yeah.
So literally you're putting in 110, 115 hours a week.
That's right.
Okay. So to answer everybody's question, can you do real estate while you have another job? The answer is yes. You're going to burn the candle. You literally burn the candle at both ends if you want success.
That's right.
And you paid the price to do that.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. It's a high price, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I wouldn't say, I mean, it was tough on relationship, right? And that's been a theme that carried through this. I mean, my first, it's ugly, right? I've been married twice. And now the first my first marriage ended in large part because my ex was an alcoholic, and it was disastrous. And
Yeah.
so
No, was this while you were doing real estate? Was this during that period?
That's while I was in real estate.
So this is going on in the background or in the foreground or whatever, while you're running a business, building a real estate business, and a major personal crisis in a marriage where
That's right.
your spouse was an alcoholic.
That's right.
Which has a whole lot of repercussions on everybody.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And you working 120 hours a week did not help.
Yeah,
not that it's your fault, but it's just part of the journey.
It is. It's interesting. When I look at it, it was an unhealthy reaction, right? Because there was a part of my life that was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people that were in my fitness business and the people that were in my real estate business, that's where I was getting love, right? I was getting love there, and I wasn't getting love here. Mm-hmm. And so I spent my time in, obviously, you're going to go where the love is, right? So I spent my time there, and then and this fell apart. And
yeah.
And so there's obviously good and bad with that. It led, though, to an unhealthy habit because, well, it had a repercussion because it bankrupted me. That divorce bankrupted me. Not technically, but it put me massively into debt. And then it also in my second marriage, I had built a habit of working too hard, right? I built a habit of pushing through, and this is for the good of the relationship. And so that was when my second relationship failed, that was because of bad habits that I built, in part because of what happened earlier, right? So there's a heavy cost, right? And putting these things together that only comes from coaching with you, coaching with my leadership coach. It only comes, in hindsight, putting these things together, that there's good and bad that comes from everything.
Right.
And how do I learn from the bad that happened?
Yeah. And you learned, we don't always learn from our mistakes the first time around.
That's right.
We repeat them with a vengeance.
Absolutely.
Wow. So how do you got through all of that?
Yes.
How do you, as you started and now, how do you generate your business? When you were new, where did your business come from? Because you got started and made business happen pretty quick. Where did your business come from?
Sure. So it always came from people, always came from relationships, building relationships. And so the way I've always been built was, I want to do a great job for people, right? My fundamental philosophy was always, if I do a great job, everything else will take care of itself. Yep. Right? If I do a great job for someone, they will refer me business. Now there was a missing component to it, which was, I didn't ask people to refer me. I just thought that it would happen. But the most important part, I think there's still an important foundational piece, which is excellence, right? The way I'm built is, if I'm going to do something, I want to do it at a 10. I don't want to do a whole bunch of things at an 8 level. I want to do this number of things at a 10 level. And if I can't do it at 10, I don't want to do it.
Nice. So you built it with relationships, what we call your personal circle. What we call the real estate vortex is, you took relationships and built it that way. And then you said something. You said, well, there was a component that was missing, and that was, I expected them to bring me business, but didn't really ask. So, which is, I think, critical, is that you started with the right intention, which, if you don't have the right intention, you're never going to be powerful with winning business through relationships. So one, you started with the intention. What was missing, it sounds like, was a system.
Yes.
Was a strategy, was a plan. How do you do this, and how do you build it? So I don't know if this is what happened next or not, but let's talk about you and me when we
Sure.
connected. So tell me how you found Yes Masters, how you came, how long ago, how long has it been? Do you know?
So yeah, it's been about 3.5 years. Well, I mean, I'd always seen you in this form, right? I'd seen you in video, right?
On YouTube, yeah.
On YouTube. Yeah, I found you on YouTube. I'd seen you in video, and what was very compelling was the message, right? The message, it really resonated because it was a no BS, right? There's too much of that in life. I mean, forget about real estate. There's just too much of that, right? I mean,
everywhere you go, yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's this, oh, this side thinks this, and this side thinks this, and there should be a universal BS, right? There's a universal truth and a universal BS. And so you broke things down in a fantastic way, which is this is what some people are saying. So you were talking about what agents tell people. I mean, one of the things that one of the first early videos that I watched of yours was the I've got a buyer, right?
Yeah.
And so, right, agents call sellers and say, I've got a buyer.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, it's a lie.
Total crap.
It's just BS.
It's BS, yeah. Yep.
And I never did that because I never felt comfortable doing that because I knew it was a lie.
Right.
But you were the first person I ever heard that said, not only is this bad and this is a lie, but here's what you should say.
Right.
Right? Or here's what you should do. What you should do is go to either say this because you don't have a buyer, or say you've got a buyer. Talk to the people who you really have a buyer for.
Right. Well, and there's a straightforward way to do this without the BS.
Right.
You don't need the BS. There's a better way.
Absolutely.
Yep. Awesome. So then what happened next?
Connect. Yes. Yes. So I watched the videos, then I shared the videos with my team. Then you came to DC. Mm-hmm. You had an event here in Washington, DC, and I went to the event. It's called Double Your Listing Power.
Yep.
And it was, there, it was fantastic because I did things that I'd never done in another conference, another seminar, another training program, whatever. Because there's always a knowledge piece, right? There's always, whenever you go to something, there's a knowledge piece.
Right.
And that's not to minimize the your knowledge piece, because the your knowledge piece is very thought out and it's very no BS. But the piece that is just as important that you coach us on is the mindset piece, right? This is where you have to be here in order to do all of what we want to do. Because if you're not good here, you can't be good there. And so I really appreciated that you spent time not only in the knowledge piece, but you spent time in the mindset piece.
Awesome.
That led to that led to me doing the challenge, the 100-day Listmaster challenge, and that was one of the most that was hard. That was, your first task was call everybody that you know in the first week. Mm-hmm. And I think the size of my personal circle at that point was about 350, 400. And so I'm thinking, holy, and I did not do it in the first week, but I did it in the first 2 weeks. And it was the most eye-opening experience I'd ever had. And you know why it was? Because not only did it result in leads in business, but there were two things that it taught me. Number one, that people didn't know. Again, goes back to what I shared. People didn't know that I needed them.
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, I probably counted about 5 million in business that I had lost in making those calls, because I heard from people that had bought, I talked to people that had bought, that people that had sold. I talked to people that had a neighbor that had just bought or a neighbor that had just sold. I mean, I was counting the dollars, right? And so I'm not all about the dollars, so I didn't, but it just told me, it just reminded me, shame on you. You didn't, because not one of them said, oh, we would never use you. What they all said is, all of them, that's when they told me that, said, oh, shoot, I should have thought of you, JP. And so shame on me, right? Whose fault is that? Like, I wasn't creating top of mind awareness.
Wow, that's huge. So not to mention that it cost you $150,000, 5 million in volume, about $150,000.
$150,000.
Just the people that you could have helped. And that's just the ones you know of. That's just the money you had lost.
100%.
Yeah, we do this all the time, right? We see it happen with agents all the time when they do this in the challenge and they all of a sudden realize, I've been kissing off tens of thousands and in many cases hundreds of thousands of dollars by not simply asking for business from people that know me. People that know you like to help you, and they like to let you help people that they know.
Right.
But they got to know that they got to know, they don't connect the dots.
Yeah.
It's crazy. When I figured that out, which took me over 10 years as a real estate agent, was when I created the Real Estate Vortex, was that they'll come to you and they'll bring business to you, but it's not automatic. You have to pull that. You have to bring it to you.
That's right.
That is awesome. Okay. So you did the challenge. So
the challenge,
because the challenge also was you had to learn a totally new listing presentation. You had to learn all these scripts. You had to do stuff you'd never done before, including probably prospecting every day.
That's right.
You all built your business from repeat word of mouth.
Right.
What was it like mentally, emotionally, as a top producer, and somebody already with a big 6-figure income, to go back to the drawing board, to kind of go back to the fundamentals and be willing to be coachable and learn the basics again? Tell us how you did that mentally, because a lot of new agents, or a lot of top producing agents, are like, they're stuck at 300,000 or 400,000 a year, and they're like, yeah, I got this. I'm good. I already know how to do that. I already know how to take a listing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's the way I look at it is it's foundational. The best analogy that I can give is I practice Muay Thai. So I practice Thai kickboxing. And, when you start any session, you're starting with a warm up, and then you're starting with your basic moves. I mean, the basic moves of Muay Thai, there are 8 moves, there are 8 points of contact. There's your hands, there's your elbows, there's your knees, and there's your feet. And so there's 8 points of contact. And ultimately, there's only a certain number of strikes that you create with these 8 points of contact. The trick is the more you practice those techniques, the better you are at those techniques, right? And it never stops. And so when I went back to the basics with the Listmaster Challenge, there were, I was back to internalizing what I was saying. I was back to thinking about what I was saying, because you were sharing, this word doesn't work and why, and this word does work and why. And so then I'm changing my language, right? And it's extraordinarily powerful. So it's a foundational, it's foundational skill that then allows you to be great. And I just as a real estate, as an aside, it's not just about real estate, because your ability to communicate our ability to communicate is incredibly important, right? I mean, it changes every part of my life.
For sure.
And so those, the use of certain words and not using certain words, whether it's with my boys or Olivia or my friends or my family, now I have better relationships because of the foundational pieces that you taught me. And so the foundation, I don't even like the word script, because
Nobody
it's,
does. Most people
yeah, I know. I know. I don't like the word because, and I mean, you have to call it something, right? It's such a limiting word because what you're really, it's almost like you're teaching us dialogue, right? You're teaching us communication, right? And you're how to connect. And so that anyone who, that was incredibly powerful for me. It's been incredibly powerful for my team because you sharing that with me means that I'm sharing that with others. I mean, even the word share, you taught me, right? Like I don't tell anybody anything anymore.
Right.
I don't tell because if I don't show you, I don't show people stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I share.
Yeah.
And so that's from you. That's foundational. That's the basics. That's the Listmaster Challenge.
Yeah. Well, and another, one that you already mentioned was the foundational skill of, hey, you want business? Ask. Like you knew, like, and that's where a lot of agents were in Muay Thai. Everybody starts at the lowest level belt, right? And you have to earn the first belt before you go to the second belt. In real estate, there's no belts. So agents come in and there's like, what do I do? And depending on who's talking to, they just do this and they try this. And one person says, go talk to sell by owners. Another one says, go do open houses. And so they don't really get a foundational training where if they have solid, rock solid, proven fundamentals that are the best.
That's
and
right.
So I really appreciate the fact that you had the humility and the coachability to go back and go like, okay, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to take this journey, because I know there were times it's frustrating when you're like, I got to go back and do this. He wants me to do this, really? Yeah. And you did it, and you did all of it. And tell us about now beyond the challenge, but after the challenge, what'd you do? Because you've been in our inner circle now for how long?
3 years.
3 years. So you right after the challenge, you went right into the inner circle because you qualified and you're as a producer. So tell us then how that has changed your business in terms of just the growth of your business from then to today.
Yeah. So I mean, everything has been tremendous. I mean, your help and coaching has, I mean, over the course of the last 3 years, my life has changed dramatically. I'd say everything is in my life personally and professionally is a double. I'm doing double the amount of business that I did before. I am giving in terms of the charities that I support. I'm giving double what I was able to give. And I've quadrupled my family size because it went from me to me, Olivia, and 2 boys. And so, and all of those things happen because because of the environment. I mean, there's coaching, and then also there's the environment of the inner circle. You've put together a group of people who create positivity, who push in a collaborative way, who want to be the best. And you train with those people and you interact with those people day in and day out, then they give you lift. So there's just, so I can't, I mean, double business, double giving, and a happy life. I mean, happy, I mean, I don't know what more I could want.
You know, that fulfills me because that's my passion, is helping agents like you win in life, not only win in business, but win in life. And, you know, and one of the things that I love in the inner circle is the environment, not only a business environment, but also relationship, life environment. So we get to hang out with each other. And so we, you know, Julie and I have got to hang out with you and Olivia and all of that. And just building those relationships with other inner circle members and all of that is phenomenal because it elevates all of us and makes us all better.
Yes.
Not
Absolutely.
only as agents, but as people.
Yes.
So I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that. Okay. So now let's turn back to the business and how, and just so that everybody has a context here, we're talking to a guy who went from making big bucks. So you're now making nearly $100,000 a month on an average month. I mean, that's pretty much very close to that. Your business alone.
Yes.
your personal production, and you've also got a team that makes a lot more money.
That's
So
right.
let's talk about that, because when you joined, came and started working with Yes Masters and got into my coaching and all that, you already had a team, right? You already had a team at that point, and you've been a team leader now for a long time. So talk to us about how you built your team and how that shapes up.
So team is hard. Let me just start by sharing that's a journey. I often share with folks that I'm on my 4th version of team. My first version of team, and it might be my 5th version of team actually. My first version of team was just having a buyer agent, and that was several years ago. And you recognize in that relationship, expectations. You know what someone expects of you, what I expect of someone, and it didn't work out because our expectations were she was only working part-time. It's very hard to do that in real estate unless you're going to work double time. Like right. Part-time, it's really a misnomer, right? It's if you're going to do this, you're going to work 2 jobs, 2 full-time jobs. That's what I did. I didn't work 1.5 jobs. I worked 2 jobs. And so that didn't work. And then I was hired by my broker to run a team, to run his team. And that was a big team. That was a 12-person, 13-person team. So that my second version of team was I was the managing director. I didn't own the team. It was his team. And there I learned that there were great people. I still have great relationships with just about everyone on that team. But their goals, their values and their goals were totally different from one another. And they were also not aligned with the owner's role, the owner's vision of the team. And so there was a massive misalignment on that team. And so I left that to start my first version of team, personal team.
Right.
And that, so let's say that's 3.0. And 3.0, we grew very quickly. We went from, and when I say we, I had a partner that I started the team with, and we went from the 2 of us to about 13 or 14 people. And it was not a team. It was a collection of people. And it was
all paddling their own canoe, their own direction.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everybody, it was okay. You're the culture guy, you're the business guy. And there were things that were, it was kind of pieced out, and that doesn't work, right? Everybody's an every guy, right? You got to do nobody wears just one hat. And so, and one day, it's one of the worst days of my life. One day I got a letter under my door from my former partner, from his attorney, saying, I don't want to, my client doesn't want to be in partnership with you anymore. Don't contact him, and we'll be contacting you in 2 to 3 weeks. And I felt like, and I was just about to walk out the door to a team meeting, and I felt like it had been just kicked in the gut.
Yeah.
It was, and what I later found out, he later ended up working with, directly with about half the team. In other words, half the team followed him somewhere else.
Right. And
so I'm a loyal guy. I stay, I'm a sticker for better or for worse. And so that was a kick in the gut. Like, that was hard. And so but that was one of the best things that ever happened. Looking back, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. That was 2016.
Okay.
And that was the year so 2016, in the summer of 2016 was me meeting you, my partner saying I'm out of here,
Mm-hmm.
most of my team saying I'm gone, and me starting all over again. And it started this journey for me, like, okay, so I could say, I could sit here and I could say, he's an ass for doing that, right? That would be the easy answer. But and there's a part of that, right? I mean, it takes two to tango, but I can't control that part.
Right.
Only part that I can control is my part. And so that started a journey that led me to you, that led me to what do I need to do to be the best person for me. And so one of my one of that we went from 12 to 2. For me, it was me and a wonderful woman who followed me, and we started the process together, not as partner because she was very junior and I was very senior, but we started the process of, okay, we're gonna do something here. So I hired a new director of operations, and started to bring in people, but in a very different way, in a way that was, instead of the first questions were, instead of your first questions being, well, what have you done? The first questions were, who are you? Right? What do you want? Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Right? And so it was a lot more time spent in where would you like to go? What's your path look like? And so it was really, and to this day, I care very, very little about what I think someone can do, because it has nothing to do with me. What I care deeply about is what someone wants for themselves, and then how I can help them to get that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and everything I do relates to that. And so 4.0 was, grew to 5 agents. Great. They're still agents with the team. The agents are with the team. One of our directors moved on, but the agents are still with the team, and they're like brother and sister. And then 5.0, which is the current, about a year ago, two wonderful women came on as partners for the team, and so now we're an 11-person team. We've grown both in terms of junior agents. We've obviously grown in terms of partners. We've grown in terms of inside team, our administrative side of our team, as opposed to our sales side of our team. And it's 3 years of journey that went from one of the worst business failures that I've ever had, right? The worst business, because I never had a business failure like that. It was a terrible punch in the gut, awful, what the hell am I going to do, to today where I'm just in a completely different space.
Yeah. I love the fact that you did not, when that happened with your partner, when you basically got stabbed in the back or whatever you want to call it,
Sure.
that you did not go into victim mode and go like, well, that's not fair. You can't do this. We're going to duke it out. You like,
Absolutely.
where do I go next? And you didn't quit. You didn't slow down. You got like, okay, time for the next version of me.
100%.
Right? I love that. And so, so it sounds to me like, and when we first had this conversation in our coaching calls, when you were talking about your model, it sounds to me like what you've done in your real estate business is you've kind of taken almost like a law firm concept of having partners that you're not like partners where you do everything together. You each have your own business,
Yes.
but you collaborate and have kind of created a conglomerate where you're sharing administrative support and marketing dollars and just kind of you're one business, but each of you in that have your own business within the bigger firm. Is that?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, so a few things that distinguish how we operate, which is very different than a lot of teams operate, right? It starts even with the name. The name is not the JP Montalvan team, it's Capital Estate Group. Mm-hmm. And so, because the vision was not about it being about me, the vision was being about team. And so, I mean, how many teams are the John Smith team, right? I mean, right. It's the vast majority. And I'm not knocking that if that's what someone wants, that if that's their vision. But my vision was a different vision. My vision was I want to create an umbrella that allows that everyone can fit under, right? Or at least people that share the same values. Right. And then it goes, and then you got the as you say, the law firm model, which is leveraged. It's a resource share and it's an income share. And it's based on, so expenses are shared as proportional to what you spend, right? And actually it's expense shared as you produce, and then it's income shared depending on where you are within the organization, right? So partners receive a share of junior agent production, and junior agents are incented because they have an opportunity to come up within the team. They have an opportunity over time to become a partner. They're getting coaching, they're getting mentoring, they're getting lift from the administrative, they're getting marketing lift. We cover everything for our agents. Our agents do not need to spend hardly anything. They're so that they can really focus on building great relationships, giving great service, and building more relationships over time, and then ultimately, hopefully, they become partners. And so I've got one agent. We've got one agent now who is going to be a partner within the next 12 months.
Wow.
A new partner.
They've earned their way up.
They've earned their way up. Absolutely. And his business went from it's doubled every year for the last 3 years.
So tell us how you make new people to come onto your team. How do you make them successful? Because obviously your success is directly tied to your increased success is directly tied to their success. In other words, you can go out and do your own business and succeed to a certain level based on what you can do, but to scale that, you got to not only hire somebody and go like, okay, do this, you got to help them do it successfully. Sure. So what are would you say are the keys to creating successful people on a team that makes the team successful? People want to have a successful team, but they don't realize, well, to do that, I've got to make every single person on it successful in their role.
That's right.
What are the keys to making them successful so that ultimately the team is successful?
Yeah, so great question. So the first is me. I've got to get coached. So you coach me, I coach them, right? Because if I need to grow, I need to always be growing. Because if this is if my bar doesn't go up, then what's happening is my people are hitting my ceiling. Like I've got to continuously raise my ceiling so that they never hit my ceiling. They never say, you know what, there's no place for me within this. And that's in everything. That's as it relates to again, dialogues and the use of language. That's as it relates to how you service a client, how you market a home, how you treat a buyer, all the how yous, right? All of those, there are technical components to it. And then there's the mindset component to it. Like I've got to continuously work my mindset so that I can show up for them in a way that's going to lift them. So number one is I have to be coached. Number two is then creating an environment that is conducive to success. And so how do we create an environment? We create, I get coached, we coach them. And so coaching means that they're getting individual coaching. And then we do an agent mastery session where we're coaching them. So once every 2 weeks, I coach, we coach the senior agents, partners, we coach the juniors. And then once every 2 weeks, all of the juniors were getting together with a senior partner to talk, to group learn, because there's benefits to both. So we create an environment through coaching. We create an environment through shared goal setting, right? Dream setting, goal setting. So in a few weeks, we're going to go out to Middleburg, Virginia, and we're going to take a wonderful home in Middleburg, Virginia, and we're going to stay overnight. We're going to spend a full day just sharing not only our professional goals, but our personal goals. Because that was one of the things that I learned at the end of my last team's role, is that if I didn't understand what was important to someone personally, then the professional stuff didn't matter, right? I mean, I can coach them, but if I don't understand what really matters to them, then I can't really help them. And so setting the environment, and again, environment happens through coaching, through goal group, dream, and goal setting, and shared experience, shared time. I can't, it's funny, we agents are very entrepreneurial.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very, very entrepreneurial, right? And don't like the idea of meetings. And so it's funny because we meet as a team for about 3 to 4 hours a week. That's an agent commitment, is about 3 to 4 hours a week. So that could be coaching, it could be mastery coaching, it could be our team meeting, but it's about 3 to 4 hours a week. Now, if you talk to someone who is in the business world, who has a salary job, right? And you told that person, hey, we're going to have 3 to 4 hours of meetings a week, and you're going to have the rest of the time, they would love that. They'd say, wow, this is great. I'm going to have good independence, and, but you tell agents that, and oh my God, we meet so much.
Yeah.
We can't even handle all this meet. I mean, and it's funny. And so it goes back to what you said about mindset. It goes back to what you said about be coachable, right? Like, challenge your beliefs. 3 to 4 hours is not a lot of time to devote each week to build your business, to build your craft, to be great.
Yep, totally. So I just to kind of summarize, or some of the things you've said that I think really resonate with me, is one is you see your role not only as being I'm doing the important work, you guys are doing the unimportant work. You don't even think of it that way. It's like your responsibility is not just to sell houses. Your responsibility is also to be a coach. So you're not just getting coached and then bringing them in and going like, okay, you do this, not just giving orders. It is training them and coaching them to be able to execute that. So it actually takes more time before it takes less time.
Absolutely.
With everybody you hire. And then goal setting together. So you're finding out what's important to them, not just telling them what's important to you. Like, okay, your job is to help me do this, and this for me. It's not just a boss mentality. It is a collaborative mentality, which also then leads to the idea of we spend time together every week in meetings, whether it's goal setting, planning, strategy, feedback, course correction, but it's in that collaborative environment that everybody succeeds together. Otherwise, there is no synergy.
Absolutely.
Synergy is work.
It is.
To create synergy.
Yeah.
You kind of crack the code of creating synergy.
Yes, that's exactly. I spent a lot of that. I appreciate you saying I've cracked the code. I'd say that's a journey, right? I'd say I've unraveled a lot of the layers of, I don't even know what the fruit would be, but it's kind of like, it's understanding that there's a lot of layers. Boy, it's a lot of layers to people, right? Think about any relationship that you're in, right? Any relationship that you're in, there's so many layers. I mean, if you're in a, I mean, you can be in the, you're in the lust phase first, and then you're in the love phase second, and then you're in the friendship phase third. And it takes getting, like, everybody's excited at the beginning of a relationship, right? But then you have to, and so there's really important to create an environment where if you understand what people want and you continuously go back to that, then and how can I help you? Then you've got a place where people feel comfortable crying.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You've got a safe place where people feel comfortable sharing their deepest worries and fears, because we all have them. People say, JP, what do you don't, yes, I cry. Yes, I have fears. It's just that I push them so far back into my head that they don't dominate what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will tell you this. I think for me, when I had my own team, and I never had a team as big as yours, but there was a reason. I hated meetings. I was like, I hired an assistant, and I was like, okay, here's your job description. Do it. If you have questions, let me know. And buyer's agent, same thing. I trained them how to work with buyers. Go. And that was as big as I literally had. Never more. 4 people was me, and 3 other people was the biggest my team ever got. And it's interesting that I look back on it. I never liked meetings. Even growing our coaching company, I did not like all the meetings. And Julie, who's the CEO, my wife, who's the CEO of our company, she's the one that go like, we got to have these meetings. These are important. We have meetings every day. Literally, there's daily huddles with our different people in the team and the whole team and all that. And it is that meetings, when they're structured right, are critical to the growth of the team. And I love the fact that you've kind of understood that, embraced that, and put that together.
Yeah.
And one last thing I was thinking of as you're talking about as you grow a team, there's that you were using the falling in love analogy. It's not just, when you're just you solo, it's very easy to work with yourself because you just do what you want.
Yeah.
The moment you bring in another person, it's like bringing on a partner. It's like getting married or dating somebody. So all of a sudden, your life just got a whole lot more complicated.
Absolutely.
Right? And then you have a kid.
Yes.
And you thought your life was complicated when it was just the 2 of you. Now you got a kid. Well, that's the way it is growing a team. Every time you bring in somebody new, the complexity of it grows. And for you to become a family, it takes a conscious, structured plan to grow a family. Same way to grow a team. It is not like just hire the right people and they'll come on and just tell them what to do and they'll do it. There's all the moving parts that you've really covered well that I really appreciate you doing that. So let's, as you look back over the last few years of real estate, what would you say personally has been your biggest struggle? Like what has been the hardest thing for you that you can share that maybe can help somebody in sharing the struggle and how you overcame it?
Yeah. So, I would go back to, getting the letter, right? But the biggest struggle was someone saying, I don't want to be with you anymore, right? And so that leads to then growth. There always, every failure that I've ever had has been predicated by things that I needed to work on, and has been followed by areas where I've grown. And so having that understanding over time has really, the struggle, like I appreciate that you didn't, you say I didn't spend a lot of time in victim mode. I was pissed, right? Like I was pissed. I was hurt. I was just I mean, it sucked. It was terrible. Like I can't even, because it was the lift, the work that I had invested in that, to just be gone in a second was horrible. And so, but it was, but it, again, it led to where I am now. Like I couldn't have, I know that people always talk about their failure is, fail forward it's important. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset. You shared at the last retreat, you shared that emotion is okay, but what you do with that emotion is what's important, right? And so it's the struggle is the emotion. That's the struggle, whether it's small or big. Like the emotion there was huge, but I just got out of, Les Brown says, if you're in hell, don't stop, keep moving.
Yep.
Right? I mean, were you going to stay in one place? If it sucks right here, no, keep going. And so that's been helpful.
Absolutely. I love it. And that's great. So last 12 months, this year, 2019, been by far your best year ever.
Yes.
And congratulations on an amazing year. And I know you're going to the next level. What has been your biggest breakthrough this year? Like personal, business, mindset?
Biggest breakthrough, I would say, it's on so many different levels. I mean, I grew my business by 20, 30% this year. At the same time, our team doubled in size. Well, I took on 2 new partners. Our team doubled in size. Our boys are going through teenage years, and so and they are right now achieving. One is awesome at bass. I mean, he's a double bassist. We watched him at a symphony last night, and our younger one is a track star, a track athlete, varsity for 4 years, and he just got his first acceptance to college, to the first college he applied to. And so it's hard, in all of these, it's hard to what's the biggest breakthrough. There's the concept you've probably heard, right, which is gradually then suddenly, right? There's this belief that I'm here and I got here all of a sudden, like, holy crap, like, look at JP, right? But really the reality is that I got there gradually. And it was it was like this, right? I was going up, but there were peaks and valleys. And so the biggest break, if I had to talk about it, it might be that. It might be the keep moving. The biggest breakthrough is keep positive, keep moving, right? Just if you're moving in a direct, don't stop. Don't allow yourself to get stuck. Just, if the path is never straight. Steve Jobs said that the dots only connect looking backwards.
Yeah.
Right? And so if the dots only connect looking backwards, even if I got up out of this chair and needed to walk to the front door, it's not a straight line. I gotta maneuver my way around the table and the chairs and the door and the front desk and whoever else is like milling around out there, and then I'm at the front door. It's not a straight path. And so those roadblocks are always there. And I think the breakthrough is I'm getting faster all the time. I'm getting faster at moving through the roadblocks.
Love it. That is awesome. All right. Well, one of the last things I want to talk about is if somebody's watching this right now and they're a solo agent and they want to build a team, what are 2 or 3 things you would say is this is the first thing you need to do? Second thing, what would you tell them to do to start building a team?
Right. So number one, coach with you. Number one, coach with you because you're the best. And so if you want to build a team, coach with Kevin, coach with you. The number 2 is because you're going to get incredible foundation, right? We talked about the foundation. You need the foundation. There are other components to foundation, reading, learning, studying. I think the Red Book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is a foundational book by Gary Keller. It's a foundational book. I mean, I'm an MBA, and when I read that book, I felt like the dumbest dude because I had treated my real estate business totally different than my other businesses.
Not a business, right?
My other businesses, I totally did what I was supposed to do. But I was realist, for some reason, there's this idea that real estate agents think that real estate is a unique business. It's not a unique business, it's a business. Yep. Apply business principles to it. Sure, they're nuanced. Sure, you're getting a license, you've got, but I mean, doctors and attorneys are working with clients just like, it's just that their vehicles are different. A doctor's vehicle is a person's body. An attorney's vehicle is a case. Our vehicle is a house. Mm-hmm. The vehicle may be different, but the business is the same. So don't think that that real estate's any different than another business. It's not. So I think there's a foundation. So there's you coaching. There's reading. If you're building a team, I would say the systems. You need to be producing more than you can handle yourself. If you're not producing more than you can do yourself, you're not ready to have a team. Some people, they're in their first year and they're only doing 1 or 2 transactions a month and they want to hire a buyer agent, right? No.
They want to hire somebody to increase production for them rather than
correct.
Hire someone to help me be able to increase my own production because I'm already got more than I can handle.
Exactly. Yeah. That's irresponsible. It's not only bad business, it's irresponsible because if you hire someone, you got a responsibility now. You have a responsibility to someone else.
Right.
So don't F them up because you don't know what you're doing, right? Start by, before you make your first hire, the wheels should be falling off your bus, right? You should have already have used some type of virtual assistant, some type of transactions coordinator. You should already be very good at using leverage. So I think that's really, really important. That was, my first experience with a buyer agent. I wasn't there yet, and it didn't work.
You have to have enough money, work, or something to feed them.
100%.
Otherwise, they starve and they leave you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got to.
So you starve because now you're giving them all your money.
Well, now it's opportunity. Now it's great because I'm creating opportunity for them, right. And so. And that opportunity is predicated based on I can't do any more personally. Yep. Right. And so now it creates opportunity for others, and that's wonderful. So you've got to have more business than you can handle. And that means your systems. Mm-hmm. You've got solid systems. You know how to run a transaction. You know how to run a listing, you've got all of your systems for selling, your systems for generating business, all of those are are solid. They're not going to be perfect, but they're solid.
They're working.
They're working.
They're working. You're getting results.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And then when you hire, you go from being just a selling to now leading. That's one of the biggest shifts, is the idea of you getting coached, and now you are coaching, you are training, you are leading. It's easier to lead. It's easy to lead yourself.
Yes. And yeah, absolutely. 100%. And also the hire should be an administrative person. It should be what I call the inside team. I don't like the executive assistant, or, you know, this is, you know, these are the assistants. We call it the inside team, right? Because the inside team is just as important as the outside. I'm the outside team. They're the inside team. Can't have, you know, it's offense, defense. It's special team. You got everything's got to be jiving. See, what I did early is you got buyer agent.
Yeah.
Right. The buyer agent is not, because what I'm good at is not what a great inside team member is good at. They're really good at systems and processes and that. And so I just, you know, that's probably your Julie, right? Like she's really good at that, right? And you're probably not as good at that. Like, you understand it, like I get it. I understand it. I can put those things together all day long, but that's not my gift. My gift is being on the outside. And so their gift is being on the inside. And so you build a team, you want to build a complementary team, and so I should have started by hiring a full-time inside team member, a full-time someone to give me administrative support, not someone to give me sales support.
That's a really good distinction. I really like that. That is awesome. So thank you for all of that, JP. Last thing, what's next? What is next for JP Montalvan? What do you see in your future?
Oh, great question. So I'm going through that exercise now. You know, we're recording this at, you know, toward the end of the year, and this is the time of year that I spend a lot of time thinking about the next year. And I also and you've coached me very well on this, is that I need to really have a better sense as to what I really want, and to really define that, to understand what my future self will look like. And so I have a much better definition, idea of that. From a business perspective, it's to continue to grow through partnership and collaboration. So it's to work with, not have people work for me, or not work for people, but it's to work with people. Right. And so I see that growing. And tangibly, again, right now I've got 2 wonderful and amazing partners, and I'd like to see that grow to 7 partners,
nice.
7 other partners, in addition to the 3 that we are. So I'd like to have a 10 partner team.
Nice. Wow.
And then, and that means then that we're creating opportunities for inside team to grow into executive roles. We're creating opportunities for junior agents to become senior agents, to become partners. Some of those partners will come in, some of those will grow from within. And so that's, and I see that as giving all of us lift.
Yeah.
Like, that's my vision for the business, is that everybody gets lift.
Love it.
And so from the personal side, I'm a relatively, as much as I like nice homes, I'm a relatively simple guy. And so I like, I look forward to having a nice home out in the wine country of Virginia. That's not the wine country of California. Wine country of California is that's some serious dollars. The wine country of Virginia is right at my speed. It's certainly a nice living by anyone's standards.
Right.
And then Olivia wants to see the water. So, and if she's not happy, then I'm not happy. So that means that my dream includes some type of water view condo. And then the boys' dreams are still TBD.
Yep.
You know, but they want a whole bunch of kids, and so I've got to think about how I'm supporting them with that, and hopefully, we're talking about maybe adopting a child or two, and so that's we're having those conversations, and so yeah, so there's a lot of what's the future look like? Again, it's never a straight path. I've always looked at future as go to where the opportunities lie.
Mm-hmm.
So your coaching, I'm very grateful to, because there's still the possibility, there's still a way to go toward a place rather than just follow the opportunity. And both can exist, but I need what you've coached me to do, which is define that. So I'm as you can see, I'm defining it.
I love it. Well, it looks like you are, whatever it is, your future is full. You're building your empire, and I love it. And I want to really thank you. Not only has it been such a delight for us to get to work together and grow together and have you work in our Inner Circle Mastermind, and watch you and Olivia grow and all that's been terrific. I really appreciate you also being willing to take all this and share and give it back to all the agents out there that are going to be watching this. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, they have a referral for you in the DC area, Washington, DC area, or just have any questions, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
So they can reach me through my email, which is jp@ceghomes.com. So that's C like capital, E like estate, G like group, homes with an S.com. jp@ceghomes.com.
Very, very simple.
And I'm happy to, if you need questions, if you'd like to mastermind, I'm happy to help. And I just want to share two things before I go. Number one, I'm tremendously grateful to what you've built, the relationships that I've built. I'm going up to see tomorrow. I'm going up to see Russ and Aaron, who I'm going up. We're going to spend some time with them. So the relationships, that's where the joy in life is. And so I'm looking forward to. I'm just so grateful to what you've created, because it's larger than real estate.
For sure.
And I'm grateful to you and Julie as people, because you walk the walk, and that's not everyone in life walks the walk. There's some more people prefer to talk the walk, and you walk it. And so thank you for leading that path.
Man, I appreciate that. Means a lot. Thank you so much, JP. Great. This is awesome. So I'm so excited. We're recording this is right before Christmas. So happy holidays to you and Olivia. And,
thank you. Merry Christmas to you too.
For your time. Guys, thank you for joining us today. If you like it, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you got questions or comments, you can reach out to JP, or you can type your comments in the space below, and play to win and always expect yes. Thanks, JP.
Thank you.